Hi. I have minimal makeup on. I should probably leave my glasses off because of the glare. I've been looking to start back up on YouTube. And I'm like sort of putting it off a little bit for the past couple of days because I'm like, oh, I don't have my makeup on and my face looks fat and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you know what? The thing that I want to do with YouTube is not about glamour. So it is what it is. It's 9:30 on Wednesday, the 21st of December. So it's a couple of days before Christmas. Things are super hectic around here. My husband had some flux, some change in his employment and where he works and all this kind of stuff. Too much to get into. Not really my business to put it out on the internet, whatever. Financially, we're okay. It's not like anything like that. It's just that he changed things. Anyway. My cat, Mr. Mouse, he's the last cat. This time last year I had 4. No, I had 3. Tigger passed away about 18 months ago. He was the first to go because I used to have 4 cats. Tigger passed away in July of 2020. And then Doink and Lenny passed away this past summer, a week apart from each other. And so that was tough. I don't think I've made a video since then. And now Mr. Mouse, who, when I'm in this position here, you're not going to end up seeing him. Right now he's up on the counter, I think, something like that. Anyway, Mr. Mouse is pretty sick. He's older. He's somewhere between 16 and 18 years old. And he has a very, his thyroid is all screwed up. And so he's on medication that he takes once or twice a day. Sometimes I forget to give him the medication. And sometimes, but that's okay because the medication gives him tremors. It's methoprazole or something like that. Anyway, it makes him very, very hungry because he's very, very thin. Super duper thin. I mean, you could feel every bone and every bump and ridge on every bone. And he eats constantly all day long. We give him about 2 full cans of food a day, and he's not eating any crunchies. So, because his teeth, we ended up taking out another 5 or 6 teeth. He doesn't seem to be in any pain. So that's why I'm comfortable giving him the medication just once or twice a day. We're trying to keep him as comfortable as possible. He does vomit blood probably 3 or 4 times a week. I think he has a tumor in his digestive tract somewhere. Nothing is ever coming out the back end as far as blood goes. It's always face forward. So that's fun. And also my father's kind of dying. If my mother sees this, I've been trying not to, we're not really on social media a lot with it. But my father last week did enter hospice care. He has been dealing with dementia for about the past 10 years. Started off kind of slow, forgetting what year it was, forgetting what his birthday was, that kind of thing. He was never really great at names anyway. But then it started to really decline about 4 years ago. Before the pandemic. At this point, he's kind of nonverbal. Every once in a while, he'll mutter 1 word or 2. But even then, it's mostly babbling. He gestures. He's pretty much bedbound. No bathroom or anything like that. And so they're having hospice come, I think, twice a week. And then my mom has hired help with her. My mother is a physician assistant. And so she's been caring for him up until now, like solely. But now it's time for her to be able to do some stuff. Like it had gotten to the point where she would go weeks without being able to leave the house. And I'm willing to take care of him, but I'm not a nurse's aide. I'm not a CNA. I'm not anything like that. I don't know how to change an adult diaper, that kind of thing. I mean, I love my dad and I would care for him, but I don't even know if he would want me to do that. I know he doesn't want my mom to do it, but till death do us part, right? My parents have been together since they're 15 years old, which is crazy. And so it got to the point where my mom didn't have a life. You know, she was literally his slave. Not that he was asking her to do that, but he needed it. So entering him into hospice care was actually a little bit of a relief for her. It was a big decision for her to do that because it's an admission that, you know, he's not getting better. I mean, she kind of knew that. The neurologist has already sort of, you know, released him from his care and stuff like that. This video is going to be very long, by the way. I'm 5 minutes in. I haven't even gotten to the point of the video. So that's fun. My kids are now 15 and 17 years old, and the senior has not necessarily dropped a bomb. It wasn't something that really surprised us so much, but my son is probably not going to be going to college. And it's not because he's going to be unproductive. He's not going to be a stoner sitting on my couch watching cartoons and eating cereal. That's not going to happen. And he doesn't even plan on that to be the thing. He decided to do a BOCES type of thing. So a lot of Gen Xers know what this is. Or maybe it's just an upper New York thing, but we used to have, in high school, we used to have this thing that we called BOCES, where if the kid wasn't doing so great academically, he would spend only like a couple of hours a day at regular school and then another couple of hours a day at doing like trade school, either, you know, cosmetology, hairdressing, you know, typing, automotive care, carpentry, that kind of thing. And here in New York City, that's not like a very common thing, you know. And what's funny is that my son is very smart. He's got a very high intellect. But he just has a really hard time with academia when it comes to applying himself. And it's the same exact thing for me. And I'll get into that in a second. So he's doing okay in English, social studies, well, I think they call it government this year. And then calculus is really bad. He's taking AP calculus. He's taking like almost practically college level calculus. And he's not doing great, blah, 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 but he's taking only half of the day in regular high school. The second half of the day, he goes to welding school, which I encouraged him to do it. He wanted to do it. There's room in this world for tradesmen always, like literally always. He will always have a job, no matter what the economy, no matter what the pandemic status, no matter what. He will always have a job. And that's one of the reasons why my parents didn't push me to go into college. I didn't go to college, by the way. I went to trade school. And so my son is going to trade school. And he's going for free because he's a New York City public school kid. And because he lives in New York City, and because his grades were high enough, because he did have good grades up until this year, they accepted him into this co-op tech program. And so he does the first half of his days in regular school, and then the second half of his days in welding school, which, by the way, I have to go pick him up soon. I do drive him from one school to the train so that he can then go into Manhattan, whatever, for the welding school. Anyway. So he's deciding to stay in co-op tech even after he graduates high school, and he's just going to stay in technical school. And so I'm okay with that. But it was, you know, when we finally had the conversation that he wasn't even, because I wanted him to apply to college anyway. He might still do that on his own, but I'm tired of pushing it, because right now is when you have to apply. And he hasn't. So, okay, listen, he's 17 and he's 6'2". What am I going to do? I'm going to make his sandwiches? I can't. I mean, yes, I will, but I can't apply to college for him. He really is busy. And like I said, he's not going to be smoking pot laying on my couch. So that's fun. That's my third one. That's fun. I turned 50 since my last video, I think. I don't think I've made a video in 3 months. On September 8th, I turned 50. And it's a time of reflection, obviously, when you turn 50. And I thought back to how I felt when I was 49, a year before that. And I had made all these resolutions to be at a certain place when I was 50. And that didn't happen. And that's okay. I'm not beating myself up. But at 50 years old, I am feeling not as fulfilled Feeling a little bit like I have my toe dipped over here and my toe dipped over here and my toe dipped over here, and a little bit of lack of direction. Now, I'm not depressed. I don't cry on a whim. I cry all the time, but that's because I'm perimenopausal. And I can't have anybody crying in my presence if I'm not crying with them, obviously. So I'm not, laying in bed for hours. I'm not anxious. I don't have anxiety. I don't have depression. I'm not, manic or anything like that. But I'm just feeling a little like I need something. And so I had a lot of, I'm going to get some water. Hold on. Okay. Stay hydrated. So I had a big, long conversation with myself, and I thought, okay, I definitely want to do something. I want to add something to my life, but I want it to be something that I know that I like. And so I did a little bit of Googling research, and I found a potter's studio. It's called the Potter's Wheel. It's very close to me. It's in Kew Gardens, Queens. And they have, like, every 8 to 10 weeks, they have classes that cycle. So I spent a little bit of money and I took ceramics classes for 2 months. Now that was something that I'm going to show you something. Hold on. So this was something that I wanted to do. This is just one of the things that I made. Okay. Yes, I meant to do those drips and then halfy thing. Okay. So I made a bunch of things. I made like 6 things in the 8 weeks that I was in the class. And so, they give you this hunk of clay and then, they're teaching you things. Now, I had taken 3 years of ceramics in high school. So it was all refresher for me. Everything that she taught, I knew, but it was just in the back of my head because it was 34 years ago or something like that, right? So I made this. I think this is my favorite one, but like, what's the use of this? This is kind of like a soup bowl. It's kind of like a pencil, cup. I don't know, whatever. So I've got a bunch of those little things. They give you this big hunk of clay and then teaching you how to, use the potter's wheel. And then, but you don't have like a goal in mind. It's not like I'm going to make a plate. I'm going to make a cup. I'm going to make a vase, this kind of thing. I made something that is useful, sort of. Okay. But I have trouble with hobbies that don't make money. When I first started with Scentsy, it was just a hobby. I didn't plan on it being a career. And then when I realized that I could make money at it, then it even jazzed me even more because I really do like money. And I like to earn money. I like to earn my own money. I don't necessarily need to be rich. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be rich. But I really like to be financially self-sufficient. And when the pottery class was over, I kind of went, do I want to do that again? Like, that doesn't make me any money. I can't sell this. And even if I could, what am I going to sell it for? I'm never going to be able to sell it for an hourly rate that I need in order to survive, right? And if I feel that your urge again, I'll go back to the potter's wheel and I'll take another couple of classes, whatever. So once that class was over, I said, okay, what am I going to do now? I'm not going to go to another class. I'm not going to start another 8 weeks of that. That's not going to get me anything. I don't have return on that. So what else do I like? I don't know if you're picking up what I'm putting down over here. I actually enrolled in school. Oh my God. College? What? So technically I went to trade school when I was 19 years old. Massage school these days is not trade school. These days, the law changed around 2000, I think. I went in 1993. It used to just be a trade school. You had to get 750 hours. I ended up getting 1,000 hours. And then you take a state board. You take your state boards, and you get your business license. And when it changed in 2001, 2002, something like that, I think, it actually went up to an associate's degree. So because I did it already, and because I was still actively practicing, actively practicing. That's kind of hard to say. I'm grandfathered in. As long as I continue to get 36 continuing education units every 3 years, I can continue to renew my registration, and my license never goes away. I'll always have my business license as long as I maintain my registration. So even though I went to college for a year, it wasn't technically college, and those credits actually do count. So did I go to college? I guess I did, even though I didn't end up with a degree at the end. So I've enrolled in online school. I start January 2nd, which is 2 weeks from yesterday, which is fucking crazy. And I'm going to be doing medical coding, medical billing, and transcriptions. Because outside of art and music, I really love anatomy and health sciences. It's something that my brain is wired that way. When I see people walking down the street, I'm looking at their gait and I'm like, oh, you know, putting a lot of stress on your arches, your dorsiflexing too much when you're walking, this and that. Lower your shoulders, your rotator cuff is going to be all jacked up, blah, blah, blah. And every time I do a massage, I'm always looking at people and I'm sort of, dissecting the muscles on their body. Learning anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 and pathology was very comfortable for me. I'm not going to say it was easy. It was simple for me. Simple need not imply easy, right? It was a wonderful challenge. And neurology was a little tough because it's a little conceptual. And the science of the sodium and potassium and the synapses and blah, blah, blah. But muscles, I love muscles. Anyway, so I thought about it and I went, you know what do I want to do? I love that. But here's the thing. I've always been in the position of helping people and making people happy. And I think I want to move away from that a little bit. And maybe that sounds bad. Being a massage therapist, it's all about the other person's comfort. It's all about their comfort. And being a health coach was all about, helping other people get healthy. And then being a Scentsy consultant, it's all about people liking what they want because they're paying for it voluntarily. This is not, it's not groceries. It's not heating oil. It's not healthcare. It's wax. It's scented wax and warmers. And while I feel it's vital to make my house smell fantastic, other people might not think it's quite so important, and that's okay. But I need my customers to feel like I feel it's that important for me, for them to enjoy the product. And I need to move away from that a little bit. I'm not walking away from Scentsy. I'm not even walking away from massage therapy. I'm not walking away from parenthood. I'm not walking away from anything. Doing medical coding can just add something, and I can also earn money. Now, I can earn a little bit more money doing it out in an office than I can at home, but I can also do it at home. I like the idea of working in an office. I haven't done that in a really long time. I am a massage therapist. I go into a place of business and I do my work, but I am always in a room by myself with one other person. There's no camaraderie. I've worked in places that, like day spas and stuff like that, there was a lot of camaraderie. But in this place that I work right now, there isn't. I know almost none of my coworkers. I walk in, I say hi and bye, and that's it. And that's not by choice. It's just that we're not supposed to hang around. It's a private club, so there's no hanging around. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of looking forward to maybe working in an office, maybe, or not. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to turn into. This is going to be a year of my life, by the way. Full-time. Well, online school, is that full-time? I don't even know. When I was talking to my admissions advisor, she was looking at the syllabus that I had done at the Swedish Institute in 1993, and she was just like, oh, shit, your first term is going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be a breeze. Because it's all anatomy, physiology, pathology, that kind of stuff. Second term is going to be real interesting because it's pharmacology. That I have no experience with. I have no experience with drugs, interactions, all that kind of stuff. That's going to be super interesting to me. That's the thing that I want to learn something. A lot of 50-somethings, Gen X people, They haven't learned anything in a really long time. A lot of us haven't been to school in a really long time. And so I'm looking forward to learning something. I'm also not an idiot around a computer. I know a computer pretty well. So I just think it's gonna check all the boxes for me. Am I gonna be rich? No. No, there is nobody driving a Cadillac who does medical coding, and their money is that's it. That just doesn't happen. You make $25 an hour, $20 an hour. You work full time, you make $50,000-$60,000 a year. Does that? I'm not doing it to be rich. Okay, I live in New York City. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's like minimum wage here, practically. I have a mortgage. I just paid $9 for 18 eggs. Like, so I'm gonna keep the Scentsy. There's no way that I can drop the Scentsy. 3 years ago, I had 278 people on my team, and this year I have 156. I still maintain a decent level of sales myself. I have a small handful of people on my team who maintain a decent handful of sales, but I lost 2 directors this year. Technically, I'm still star director, but this year I've only hit star director numbers twice. March and October this year. So I don't lose my title, but I maintain my title, but I don't get paid like a star director does because it's the downline. I have no control over people who decide to not do Scentsy anymore. I don't have any control over that. I'm not in a place that I want to convince anybody to do anything they don't want to do. That's just, listen, I already have 2 kids. I'm not your mother. And I applaud them. I don't know. That might be me next year. My superstar director might be looking at me and saying, I used to have a star director on my team, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm not making as much money with Scentsy as I used to. I'm not working as hard at it. I still work on the sales. I honestly do. I still work on my sales as much as I did, and my sales are pretty much where they were. But I'm not recruiting. I'm actively not recruiting. And having 278 people on my team was a lot of pressure. I was making a lot of money. But that's not me. I'm not like that. I don't know. I was at the time, and I've had people evolve, So I'm going to be a student for a little while. Like I said, I'm still going to do Scentsy, but I think that my channel needs a little bit of an overhaul. I've never really made money with my YouTube channel. There are a handful of people that found me on YouTube that became Scentsy clients, okay? The bulk of my YouTube channel, if you scroll back to 2014 through 2017, it was all health coaching. So between 2014 and 2017, it was all health coaching. From 2017 to 2020, because for the past 2 years I haven't been consistent, it's been Scentsy. And now for the past 2 years, it's been on and off. It's only been Scentsy, but it's just very sporadic. Oh, and my congestive heart failure from 7 months ago. But I think I'm going to start doing like kind of vlogs a little bit, sort of like, a 50-year-old going back to school for the first time in 30 years. Oh, really? Really? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to get into like what school I'm going to or whatever, but I don't know. I need for it to start before I start getting into too many more details about that, I think. And I also don't know a lot yet. I'm tempted to buy the books early, like I'm 2 weeks early, you know what I mean? Just to get a jump on it, but I also don't want to burn myself out before it even starts. So that's fun. Things between me and my husband are great. Things between me and my mom are great. Like I told you what's going on with my dad. And so we're just going to try to get through the holidays, and we're going to try to make sure that Mouse stays alive and my dad stays alive so that shit can hit the fan on let's say January 10th, because I start school on January 2nd on the Monday right after New Year's. So interesting. So I'm going to watch this back, but I'm not going to edit it. And then we're just going to post it. I've been wanting to overhaul my channel for a while. So if you're here only for Scentsy talk, I mean, listen, you're welcome to stay. Everything I do is purple. My headphones are purple. My water bottle's purple. My shirt is purple. I still bleed purple. I love wax. I warm wax constantly. I've got a huge delivery coming to my house. I'm not saying I'm never talking about Scentsy again. I might only talk about Scentsy in like sort of a customer role instead of like a consultant role, because that's really what I've been doing. That's kind of what I've been doing all along. I talk about Scentsy because I love it. Excuse me, I don't talk about stuff that I don't like. You know what I mean? And I'm trying not to sell too much. I'm just sharing. I know that sounds corny, but I don't care if you buy it or not. I don't care if you buy it from me or from somebody else. I just like to talk about what I like, you know? And I'm so ready for all of this bakery shit to go away. I'm ready for the summer. Hi. Because the summertime we get a lot more scents that are like floral and that kind of thing. I like that kind of stuff a lot more than fucking cinnamon, warm cinnamon, vanilla, blah, maple, this and that, blah, 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 chestnut, hazelnut, la, la, la. Anyway, 26 minutes. Let's wrap it up. Sorry about that. I will, I don't know when I'm going to vlog again. Or is this vlog? Life update? Whatever. Maybe at some point before I start school on January 2nd. And then I don't know what my schedule is going to be like. I have no idea. I don't know. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.